I've got labels again. Try not to attach them to my clothes. Blinking, freezing. So I do my influencer thing. This is, you can get these made by Turtle Doves, and they're made out of repurposed cashmere sweaters to keep people's fingers warm when they're like me. I'll put them back on.
Great, lovely.
Correct answer. Unless, of course, you're a vegan, you don't approve of cashmere.
Do vegans not approve of cashmere?
No, because the cashmere is off a goat. They have to...
But they don't kill them.
No, but that's vegetarian. Vegan is it shouldn't have any animal products at all.
So would a vegan not wear wool?
A vegan would never wear wool. It's not the same as plant-based diet, but for vegan, believe me, I work for Lush.
Yeah, no, I
No.
believe you, yeah.
Yeah. No, because I said to one of them once, what did you do before there were fleeces? And
Yeah.
they said, we got really cold.
Mm.
However, that
Well,
is another subject.
yes, it is.
But yeah, no,
Goodness me.
don't do wool. So, it's about whether an animal is involved at all, not just whether you consider it harmed, not killed. Right. Well, we've been talking about white flowers. That went down quite well, that found.
Great.
The daisies. And I thought I'd talk about a couple of fragrances that I made which have white flowers in them. And there are very few perfumes whose formulas I remember what exactly they're in them, but Pillow Talk is one of them. And there are stories. And Pillow Talk has in it Lang Lang and Jasmine, and also it's got not real orange flower, but it's got orange flower ether, which smells like orange flowers, or rather it gives a note of orange, so it gives a little wafty orange flower aroma. So I used that this time because I didn't have any orange flower, absolutely.
Is that synthetic?
Yeah, it is. It's a single molecule.
Does ether mean, is ether always a synthetic, if it's an ether?
No, because there will be, those molecules will also exist in flowers. This particular one is synthetically produced.
Okay.
So it's like the lactones, you can get them from milk, or you can synthesize them, but they're the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But this particular one, the orange flower ether, is less expensive. It's one of those where by itself you don't go, that's lovely. You go, whew, that's a bit weird. But as soon as you put it with other flowers, it makes the other flowers go, whew, extra light and orangey.
Mm-hmm.
And I have this blend which is orange flower ether and yuzu zest, also known as yuzu aldehyde. And the two things together give this lovely impression of orange flowers and yuzu fruit together. As long as you put them with other things, just by themselves they're a bit...
Yeah.
I say that actually, people really like them just with each other. But that was the secret put on the top of this. So once upon a time, we got asked if we would make a fragrance for Valentine's Day for a hotel group, and they wanted this as a pillow spray, not as an actual perfume. They wanted to spray it on their pillows for their guests who were booking in for Valentine's. Which, I mean, generally speaking, Valentine's makes me just go, oh, but they wanted me to do that. I think you should be lovely to people all year round, not just one day, but one day some people is better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, we do that. And really it turned out it was more so they could send out a story to the press about what they were doing than actually doing it.
Oh yeah.
But they said, can you do this for us? And it needs to have Lang Lang, Jasmine, Sandalwood and Black Pepper. And I said, yes.
Lovely. They're lovely things.
Mm-hmm. But I also said, why?
Yeah.
which I think I'm sure we talked about, but it doesn't do any harm to talk about it again. And the reason was they said, well, we've read about it, and they're all aphrodisiacs.
Right, okay.
Now, not pheromones,
No.
because we know that they don't work
Good, yeah.
on humans, but aphrodisiacs, as you say, if somebody is well fed and feeling quite happy, almost anything's an aphrodisiac.
Yeah. Yeah.
Warm enough, don't need it.
Well, there's that thing that you look into any culture throughout history, and you'll find almost everything has been an official aphrodisiac from one time.
And they looked these up and found that these were in the Indian tradition.
Right.
So
what were they again?
Sandalwood, jasmine,
Yeah.
lang lang, and black pepper.
They're all quite sexy things.
Totally.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think jasmine has many secret superpowers that
Yes.
we're not allowed to write down, probably. But certainly you can't put it on the bottle. So jasmine, yeah, this works, but you can't write that down. It's not clinically proven.
Mm-hmm.
Nor would I want to go about proving it, frankly. However, so yeah, I said yes, I'll do that. But knowing that particularly lang lang and jasmine are restricted, you can't just put the four of them together and dilute and make perfume. Besides which, wouldn't smell
It's
very
because of their
nice.
Aphrodisiac powers that they're restricted.
They just can't be allowed out. They have to be kept in the yellow cupboard.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're important. Yes, I'm sure that's the reason. But also skin sensitizers.
Yeah.
Yeah, fact. So I didn't have very long to do this. So I took the sexiest scent on the planet ever, IMHO, obvious choice, and customised it with those four things, which were sandalwood, black pepper, lang lang and jasmine. And when I sent it off to them, they said, oh, it's quite nice. And I said, what were you expecting?
What were they
You
expecting?
wanted me to make a perfume.
They're all nice things as well.
Yeah. I mean, it is possible to put the four of them together and not make something that smells amazing, I guess. But particularly, Sexiest Scent on the Planet Ever is one of those 4 building block super clouds that helps things smell lovely.
Yeah.
Plus, it has Isoi Super in it, which is not a pheromone, but it's a very lovely aroma. And so that was done. But on the day that I was about to send those off, that's when somebody descended on the studio. The Hollywood agent person arrived and said, I want a perfume for next week. I'm launching it. Can I have one? And I said, oh, well, I'm busy. I'm just doing this. I didn't know who she was, so we definitely covered this one. And
I don't think you have.
have we not talked about this one?
I don't know this story.
Maybe I told a group.
I
It
haven't
was
told
very
you.
interesting. She turned out to be, when we found her ticket stub and Googled her afterwards, she turned out to be one of Forbes' top 10 most important people in Hollywood. But she just rocked up in Acton, you know, complaining that it was a very long way and the Uber had cost a lot of money. And we just like, who are you? We went to Paolo's Cafe and bought pies and just said, there you go. And just to sit down and behave. And she brought her daughter, who was lovely,
And she wanted a perfume to launch.
the following week in Hollywood. She was on her way to France, but she cancelled France because there'd just been a bomb. And she said, well, I'm not going to Paris, it's too dangerous. And I was thinking, you're in Acton, mate. Like, I mean, not that Acton's particularly dangerous, you know, but to avoid all of Paris because there was one bomb. Anyway, she came to me. She's the one who, I sent her an invoice later and she never paid it.
Oh.
Yeah, but no names. Yeah, anyway.
So what did she did get a perfume?
Yes, but what she said was, could she have that one? Because I was working on that one at that moment. I said, I have to do this. I have to ship it to this PR company. And she said, that's nice. Can I have it? I said, no, because somebody else has got it. So she said, okay, can I add some things? Can I add yuzu? Well, if you want. And then she thought it might be nice to add orange flower. So I got my yuzu orange flower blend that I had made before. Oh, the crow's here. Nice. That's a magpie. Never mind. So I put that in, and she liked that. And then she wanted some pink peppercorn, so we put some of that in, put a bit of brightness. And so that became Pillow Talk. And it was such a day that it's kind of embedded everything. If I'm working calmly, I don't necessarily, the formula is not fixed in my brain, but because this day all that happened, like, can you make me a perfume and send it over this afternoon to the PR company? Okay. And then some Hollywooders just rock up and go,
Let's have a smell of it then.
okay. So anyway, that was how come I ended up making my first real sort of white flowery fragrance, because I never quite knew what to do with jasmine before, but we'll talk about that soon. See, I don't really wear it. I love it as an aroma. It smells like the way I would like my garden to smell, or my
pillows.
Pillows, that's good. What's the name? A riad. If I had a riad in Morocco, I would want the garden to smell like this.
Yeah.
You can picture the trees and the shrubs and the flowers and the evening and the calm, and it does just make you want to lie down and relax, I think.
Jasmine is really talkative.
That's a good description. So ça existe. It came into being. Not because of anything I was thinking I really wanted to do, but it made me do it, so I did it. So that's the story of Pillow Talk. And then there's the story of Drive Them Wild, which also, now that one I don't remember exactly what I put in it, but there's more. So I brought the list, and it's called, on this one, I first was working on it on the 18th of March in 2019. It was called Dolores del Rio in brackets, because this is the one that I made with materials which are all around in 1933, or I've taken the animal products and replaced them with a synthetic, but that's allowed. And this was inspired by a photograph of Dolores del Rio in the Beaumont Hotel in central London, the building which was formerly Selfridge's car park and is now an Art Deco style hotel with an Anthony Gormley sculpture on the front of it, which is quite splendid. If you come out the Selfridge's front door, underneath the Angel, and walk across the road and then past the stalls that sell piles of tack, and round the back of that and straight on, it's on your right. And suddenly it was there. Everybody thinks it's been there for ages, but actually, no, it wasn't. It was a car park. But for London Craft Week 2019, we all had to choose, the perfumers invited, had to choose a person who was depicted in the photograph in the Lotus room there and make a fragrance inspired by or for them. And I chose Dolores del Rio because, notorious though she was, she really achieved things. She, one, gorgeous, two, after her Hollywood career pretty much fizzled out with, beautiful women, had a sell-by date, well they still do in Hollywood, but she went back to Mexico and pretty much founded the Mexican film industry. So, go Dolores. And so I made Drive Them Wild because there was a thing in the Hollywood press that said that she would wear perfume in her hair to drive men wild. But I thought this would drive everyone wild, so I did it. So I was taking her garden, inspiration from her garden in Mexico and her garden in Hollywood, because she liked gardening. So the white flowers I used Osmanthus and Orange Blossom in this one. And Osmanthus is very apricot-y. It's like dried apricots soaked in apricot liqueur and then put in a cake. Osmanthus. So that's hiding in here. So it's a different approach. I also added, I've got a chypre planet in this, made with oak moss, popanax, patchouli and tonka. There's bergamot in my citrus part, so the bergamot fits in with this chypre. A little tiny bit of isobutyl quinoline, which is a leathery aroma. A little bit of hydroxycitronellal, which is a sort of gentle white flowers, like more lily-ish aroma. Musk, ethyl vanillin, and I did use, for the original small batch, I used my ambergris tincture. Actually, I put it in the second batch as well. So ambergris also technically not vegan because whale poo, because it's come from a whale, but you don't kill the whale anymore to get it.
No, and it does wash up.
It washes up, but...
That's allowed.
Yes, but what is not encouraged, in case people start thinking, oh, ambergris, that we could sell that for a lot. Let's just see if we can find a whale.
Yeah.
So nobody wants to encourage it, but yes. Plus cocoa absolute and vanilla absolute. And is there black pepper in there anywhere? No, I imagined that. Blood orange, red mandarin from Brazil, and that's kind of it. So it's a strange amber, citrus, white flowers. I say strange, I really like it. Luxurious, I say that. So I say osmanthus and citrus fruits what you get first. So completely different roots, but the two of them are very different.
Yeah.
Driving Wild is, I would say, is much sweeter and softer and sort of bouncier, whereas Pillow Talk is rather more woods. It's the sandalwood and the cedramber in there. It feels drier and kind of like very pale woods.
Yeah. Driving Wild is just it smells a lot more complex to me.
Interesting. Anyway, we could probably just do this for hours.
Yeah. Jasmine's one of those weird things that I really, really love jasmine. But I also just sometimes want it to just be a bit quieter.
It took me a lot of years before I would like it. I think partly because it was in so many Lush products when I was working there at what I thought was a little bit too intense a level that I didn't really get fond. So this is Jasmine Sambac by itself. One of the reasons I use Sambac, which is Sampaguita, is because you're allowed a lot more of it. But I think Jasmine, the grandiflorum, smells more refined, maybe. This is a bit... Jasmine, the usual, the one's called Jasmine Absolute. That's a little more slow foxtrot. And I think the Jasmine Sambac is a little bit more cha-cha-cha.
Yeah. Very good description.
Thank you.
It definitely is. Yeah. I like Lang Lang. Is that a white flower? That is a white flower.
I have it here. Yes. I'm on the fence about Lang Lang.
I like I really, really like it.
I will sneak it into a few things.
My mum used to have this little sort of circular metal dish that she used to put on top of the stove, and used to put water in it with a few drops of Lang Lang, and the whole place would just smell amazing.
Yeah, also quite restricted. I mean, it's known as the oil of tranquility.
I think that's really good. I think it is. I've got face oil that's Lang Lang. And
Does it make your face tranquil, Arthur?
Makes it more tranquil, certainly.
There's a florist fragrance called Milk of Flowers.
Wow.
And it's for men.
Right.
But I went in and I smelled it. I had no idea what I was expecting. I smelt it, and
is it a milk? Is it an emulsion, or is it? No,
it's just called. That's just its name. I think some of my really ancient books, like the books from the 1700s, describe fragrances as milk of this and milk of that.
Oh, right.
So I think it just means the liquid product of.
Milk of dupe.
But I smelt it and I said, "Oh, Lang Lang," and they went, "You know these things." like, how dare you know these things?
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it, Lang Lang? That's the thing. I do think that's the only reason why I like my face oil is because I think it's quite a rare feeling to go, I know that my face smells really good. My whole face. Yeah, I like it. See, what Lang Lang does for me is it hits the same notes as Jasmine does, but it just knows when to shut up. Going back to the talkative thing.
Yes. There are sometimes
it's got better social skills.
But not everyone gets on with it. No, not everyone can get on with everyone or everything. We've had people sometimes at workshops say, there's just one thing I don't like, and I'm not really sure what it is. And you put this in fragrances and they can go a little bit sort of rubber toy.
Right, interesting.
This smell can, it just, and when she smelt it, it's like, that's the thing, I don't want that thing, and whatever her past memory of it was.
See, I quite like the smell of plasticine. I would definitely wear a fragrance that smelled of plasticine.
You know what, now you mention this and now all I can smell coming off this is plasticine.
Bougie plasticine.
Yeah. But you can imagine...
West London plasticine.
You can imagine it being, yes, Waitrose plasticine, being pleasantly manipulated.
I want to smell of plasticine now.
Okay. We'll find a way.
Yes.
Okay. I think probably stop there.
Great. Were you stopping?
I have a part 2, but we could do it all as part 1.
Okay.
I was thinking that would be a...
Okay. Well, then we'll come back for part 2.